What's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and you're watching The Weekly Fix. It's time to get up to speed on all the latest in gaming and entertainment in record time, so you can get back to gaming and streaming. Today, a Bloodborne remake is coming to PC, incredible games are hitting Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and Akeem explains the timeline for My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Let's go.
Bloodborne PSX, which is a PlayStation 1 style remake of the PlayStation 4 exclusive, will launch for free on January 31st, 2022. A new trailer shared by developer Lilith Walther looks to recreate the early parts of Bloodborne with many features from the original and includes such foes as the Lost Hunter, Huntsman, Rabbit Dog, Troll, Carrion Crow, Werewolf, Hunter, and even Cleric, Beast, and Father Gascoigne's boss fights. The inspiration for the remake came when Walther was inspired by viral screenshots of the remade Bloodborne mockups back in 2015. It wasn't until about a year ago that Walther, joined by Corwin Pritchard, began work on the full remake. While you wait for Bloodborne Remaster update on PlayStation 5 or the Bloodborne PSX, be sure to check out a side-by-side comparison of Bloodborne's remake with the original game. Moving on, the Halo Infinite multiplayer map Streets has been revealed, and IGN has exclusive coverage of Master Chief's reboot all month long. Today's reveal offers a taste of a brand new arena multiplayer map, a small asymmetrical battleground set in New Mombasa at night. Our exclusive deep dive with lead multiplayer level designer Cale George goes into detail on potential contested points, best sightlines for sniper shots, and showcases a ton of Easter eggs and artistic touches, like a retro-styled Halo Infinite arcade cabinet that plays a meaty version of the Halo theme. There are two other BTB maps that have yet to be seen, Deadlock and High Power. Multiplayer creator director Tom French described Deadlock as very dramatic and very classic Halo, but with a very different mood than the rest of the maps. High Power was initially a test stream for BTB, but with the amount of fun developers and testers had with the map, they decided to make it official. We'll have so much more Halo Infinite as November rolls on, so be sure to check out the full IGN videos and look out for a raw full match gameplay video featuring Streets this Wednesday. Capcom recently confirmed news of a free DLC in their recent annual integrated report. It's a lengthy document that goes over the studio's year-to-date and outlines plans for the future, but to RE fans' delight, Capcom's director and executive officer Yoichi Egawa spoke briefly about the company's development strategy and how plans for Resident Evil Village would factor into that. It's unclear at this time what exactly this free DLC will be. Capcom confirmed back at E3 that more DLC for RE8 was in the works due to popular demand, but no information has been revealed since. Resident Evil Village's previously released Trauma Pack DLC, which was mostly made of cosmetic content, still left fans hoping for an actual story-driven DLC sometime in the future. Could this be it? Considering the document reported 110 million units of Resident Evil Village sold, Capcom seems to have acknowledged it needs to be understanding player trends and user preferences while building its online business model and factoring free additional DLC for titles like Resident Evil Village and Monster Hunter Rise. So even though we do not have any strong confirmation for what the new Resident Evil DLC will look like, we can hold out some hope that it'll be a full story-driven experience. Moving on, a new Marvel game from former Uncharted dev is in the works. Skydance announced a collaboration with Marvel Entertainment today with no further details about which Marvel character might be involved in the adventure. All we know is that it is being marketed as a narrative-driven blockbuster action-adventure game and a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe. Skydance's new division in the hands of Amy Hennig, best known as writer and director of the Uncharted games at Naughty Dog. She's joined by EA veteran and executive producer Julian Beek to kick off the brand new interactive division. Skydance has historically been a movie production company responsible for films such as the Mission Impossible franchise, Star Trek, Top Gun, Maverick, and Terminator Dark Fate, as well as the VR title The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. With Beek's 6 years at EA working on franchises like Battlefield and Need for Speed, and a plethora of developers with decades of AAA experience in action and adventure games at their disposal, whatever this Marvel game turns out to be will definitely be worth keeping our eyes on.
If you're a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass, which you should be, it's the best value in gaming right now, there's a ton of new games coming to this service this month. First off, Forza Horizon 5 hits Game Pass for consoles, PC, and cloud on November 9th. You can preload it now so it's ready to go when the clock hits midnight on the 8th. I don't need to tell you how good this game looks. I mean, check out any of our previews. I mean, look at it. Gorgeous. If driving through Mexico ain't your thing, there's the co-op hit It Takes Two, which I can personally attest to it being an absolute blast. Just make sure you and your co-op partner are strong enough to go through some yelling at each other. It's two. Get over here!
Two?
Okay. Wait,
No,
it's...
three.
Wait. Ow!
Oh, God. What just happened?
Each level is gorgeous and so unique. I absolutely adored this game and wish I could play it again, so please check it out. Also, if you're like me and you absolutely hate spiders, you get to kill as much of them as you want and kill it with fire. You can use fire, obviously, guns, weed whackers, frying pans, and pretty much anything you can get your hands on to get rid of those nasty 8-legged creatures. Microsoft Flight Simulator Game of the Year Edition is coming to Game Pass on PC and console, sorry cloud players, and brings new discovery flights, tutorial missions, a new weather system, and of course, new planes including the FA-18 Super Hornet for all you wannabe Mavericks out there. You can fly into the danger zone on November 18th. That's just a few of the more than dozen games coming to Game Pass this month. GTA San Andreas, Skyrim Special Edition Update, Evil Genius 2, but what Xbox giveth, Xbox taketh away. You'll have to say goodbye to Final Fantasy VIII HD, River City Girls, Planet Coaster, The Gardens Between, and a few more titles this month. And if somehow none of those games interests you, you can also play some New World. But, surprise, surprise, there's yet another controversy. Developer Amazon Games has disabled all forms of wealth transfers in the MMO. This is due to an exploit that allowed players to duplicate gold and crash other players' games by posting images to the global chat. A statement from the game's community management team reads, quote, "We are aware of a possible gold duplication exploit that has been circling, and we are temporarily disabling all forms of wealth transfer between players. Any player that is engaged in the use of this exploit will be actioned against." Actioned against is a pretty weird way to say that they're going to ban you, which is what they're going to do to anyone caught duplicating gold. So don't do that, and also don't crash other people's games, which you can do by using an exploit in the global chat system. Amazon Games has also confirmed via a forum post that they've already put out a fix that, quote, should resolve the issue. And they have a fix in the works for the gold duplication exploit.
All right, we got your lineup of games coming to PS Plus in the month of November. Confirmed during Sony's latest State of Play, you can expect First Class Trouble for both PS5 and PS4. Now, this online social deduction multiplayer game allows you to play with up to 6 people with 4 working co-op to try and shut down a rogue AI on their ship while the other 2 players try to sabotage the others. And then we have a game where you can team up and duke it out in Knockout City, available for both PS5 and PS4. Now you can knock out your opponents with trick shots, all while dodging and catching balls across the map. Now available on the PS4 is Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Now if you haven't played this RPG from the minds of Todd McFarlane and best-selling author R.A. Salvatore, now's your chance in the month of November. And for PSVR, you can get The Persistence, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Standard Edition, and Until You Fall. All are available to download November 2nd, with Knockout City, First Class Trouble, Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning available to add to your game library through December. Now, The Persistence, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Standard Edition, and Until You Fall are available through January 3rd of next year. Now, in related news, Sony has now sold 13.4 million PS5 consoles, with 3.3 million being sold within the July-September Q2 period, according to Sony's latest financial reports. Now, also revealed in Sony's financial reports is the company's game and network services segment selling 1 million more PS5s to retailers in Q2 compared to previous 3-month periods the company has seen. Now, this is the second highest quarterly sales for the PS5, with these sales contributing to a total of $5.86 billion in revenue for Sony's gaming division. Now that's up 27% year on year for the best Q2 PlayStation has ever achieved. And yet there's still a great deal of consumers out there that want to get their hands on a PS5 and still can't. Not to mention all the scalpers that simply bought stock to resell these consoles, not at stock price. Yeah. Ultimately, a sale is a sale. Now, these reports don't split out direct sales from sales to various retailers. Now, these are just the numbers, y'all. So, big ups to Sony for having a solid Q2.
The Nazis dream of a 1,000-year Reich, but in truth they are already dead. The war machine shattered at Stalingrad, but the evil regime staggers on, desperate to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. A special battalion of SS troops scoured the globe for a supernatural means to win the war. They were led by the most dangerous man I ever met. Oberfuhrer Wolfram von List. It was he who destroyed my life and cost me my soul. Von List gathered experts from across the Reich. Archaeologists, explorers, historians, and authorities on the occult, like myself. We were forced to help them loot sacred antiquities. But none of the relics we found gave von List the power he craved. Then, something happened in Poland that changed everything. Another Nazi attempt to alter the course of the war somehow weakened the barrier between this world and the next, unleashing the forces of darkness. Many miles away, 5 of our artifacts suddenly awakened. Ancient spirits, demons if you will, beckon from these otherworldly relics, whispering a promise of power. And, of course, von List accepted. He now has the power to raise the dead, and a plan to take back everything the Nazis lost. All the troops he will ever require lie frozen in the mass graves of the Eastern Front. To stop his unholy army, they must find allies, or the 1,000-year Reich will consume us all.
We're gonna take a quick break while I go download those PS Plus games. After that though, Akeem's got your entertainment news covered. You don't want to miss out on the first real look at the new Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett. And we're back. While most of the My Hero Academia movies aren't related to the anime series, World Heroes Mission is a little different. Don't worry though, Akeem is here to explain how it impacts My Hero canon.
My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission is out right now in theaters, and while these films are typically considered non-canon to the anime series, this particular outing is slightly different. In fact, the movie's main villain was teased in an episode of the anime. Now, if you're all caught up on the show, you may remember the post-credit scene in Season 5, Episode 16 of My Hero Academia, where some of the heroes foiled the plans of an unknown villain who was trying to smuggle drugs to Otheon, Europe. Now, in the post-credit scene of that episode, the villain in question was revealed to be Fleck Turn, who is the leader of the villainous organization Humorize seen in World Heroes Mission.
So Heroes interfered with our shipment.
Yes, sir. What would you have us do?
Forget about it. We already have the amount we need to enact the plan.
Now, episode 16 of My Hero Academia's 5th season was essentially setting up the events that take place in the movie, leading us to believe the film takes place after this particular episode. Now, since Fleck Turn was featured in this particular episode, does this mean that World Heroes Mission is canon in relation to the anime series timeline? Well, the original creator of My Hero Academia supervised the story being written for the movie in order to avoid any conflicts that may disrupt the ongoing narrative in the manga. Now, what this basically means is the movie can be considered canon as it pertains to where it falls in the overall timeline of the anime, but it won't have any lasting consequences that we'll see play out in either the manga or the anime series. So we know when World Heroes mission takes place, but any activities that happen within the movie will not affect the overall canon of the anime or the manga. Now, although the movie is a standalone story, it was awesome seeing the setup for the film play out in an episode that might have otherwise been considered filler. Now, have you seen World Heroes yet? Would love to know your thoughts on it. Now that you know where in the overall timeline of the anime the movie falls, it's an interesting revisit watching from episode 16 of the 5th season onwards. Of course, it's a bit of a pain to know that the story in the movie is a self-contained one, even though the main villain of the movie appeared in the anime series. Would be nice to see some actions that take place in the movies have lasting repercussions on the anime for a change. But you know what? We get what we get, and honestly, we're happy. My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission is out right now in theaters. Now, in other news, Disney Plus is working on a National Treasure series not starring or featuring Nicolas Cage in any way, because that makes sense to no one. According to Deadline, the upcoming series will star actor Lizette Alexis as Jess Morales, searching for answers to her family lineage and a lost Pan-American treasure. Now, production on the 10-episode series kicks off early next year, with original producer Jerry Bruckheimer returning.
The first trailer for the Book of Boba Fett shows Boba teaming up with fellow former bounty hunter Fennec Shan to fill in the power vacuum left by the dearly departed Jabba the Hutt, and it feels an awful lot like the Sopranos in space. You remember the duo blasted their way into Jabba's palace and took the throne at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, and now we'll get to see what happens when Boba attempts to use respect, dinners at big tables full of alien gangsters, and long dramatic stares to rule the galaxy's criminal underworld. The Book of Boba Fett taking on a different tone than we're used to seeing in Star Wars makes a lot of sense. The Mandalorian leaned into the space western vibe, the upcoming Ahsoka show seems like it's going to be more space samurai, and this series is going the way of the space godfather.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial.
Honestly, that's a bit of an unexpected approach for Disney to take with Boba Fett. He's the most badass gunslinger in the Star Wars universe, but this series is going to challenge him by asking him to holster his laser guns for a little bit and use his reputation as an infamous bounty hunter to make himself into something more. It's something Darth Maul tried to do in the Clone Wars series. Is running a crime syndicate the only career path for badass Star Wars characters who died in a lame way and came back in a spin-off show? I guess so. But don't worry, Boba Fett won't be spending the whole show making offers you can't refuse. As the trailer shows off, he'll still get the chance to cut loose by cutting up some space thugs. But what do you think of our first look at the Book of Boba Fett? Are you down with this Jabba ghoul? Let us know in the comments. And prepare to watch the show on Disney Plus when it hits on December 29th. Director Ava DuVernay has finally spoken up about why her DC movie The New Gods was canceled. Chatting with Andy Cohen on his show, the Wrinkle in Time director had this to say.
No, I just like DC Comics. And so, my overall deal is at Warner Brothers and DC is at Warner Brothers. So once I got to Warner Brothers, I was like, I'm going in that vault and I'm looking at what y'all got. And I loved New Gods, which is the project that got axed. The studio decided that they did not want to pursue a certain part of that comic world based on some things that were going on with another film in that world. Okay. So before I even was able to kind of complete my script with Tom King, they axed it.
The other film in that world she mentions is, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. As reported when The New Gods was canceled back in April, the Snyder Cut brought New Gods villain Darkseid to the forefront in a big way, and the studio decided they didn't want to double down on the cosmic characters of Jack Kirby's Fourth World. DuVernay was co-writing the New Gods script with comic scribe Tom King, who was no doubt pulling in elements from his Mr. Miracle run with Mitch Gerads, including Scott-Free, Big Barda, and other New Gods. There goes our one chance to see Darkseid double dipping while eating from a veggie tray. Fans of DuVernay may find some solace in the fact that she has not one, but two more comic book projects in the works. an adaptation of Naomi for the CW, and DMZ for HBO Max.
Game of Thrones actress Gemma Whelan recently referred to her filming of the sex scenes on the HBO show as a frenzied mess. Yeah, now while speaking with The Guardian, Whelan said, quote, "They used to just say, when we shout action, go for it, and it could be a sort of frenzied mess. But between the actors, there was always an instinct to check in with each other, which Whelan claims to have done with those she was sharing scenes with, just to make sure they were okay with the overall situation that they found themselves in." Yeah. Now, in the interview, Whelan explained that intimacy directors were brought on set to help the actors feel more comfortable with conveying love or sex on screen. Now, an intimacy director is a choreographer essentially hired to help facilitate scenes involving physical touch that often involve nudity and simulated sex. Now, Whelan claims they improved the entire process those intimacy directors did, treating those sex scenes like, they were well choreographed dance moves where permission and consent was given before you start. Now, I'm gonna regret asking this to you all, but what did you think of the intimate scenes in Game of Thrones? Yeah, did it come off as how Whelan would describe it, as a frenzied mess? I don't think I would ever describe a sex scene as such, but you know what? To each their own. Comment down below, let's discuss. More Game of Thrones is coming our way in 2022 with the prequel series, House of the Dragon. Now, in other news, rumors are swirling currently on the internet that Seth Rogen is set to star in a solo Donkey Kong movie. Yeah, now before we hear him as DK in the upcoming Illumination Mario Brothers flick, there's already news dropping of Rogen getting his very own spin-off movie. Now, this is all according to, quote, trusted and proven inside sources from Giant Freaking Robot. So, you know what? I want y'all to take this with a grain of salt for right now. Now, according to GFR, the solo Donkey Kong film is being developed by Illumination, the same folks bringing us Mario and Friends next year. Now, how long do y'all think it's going to take for us to get a Super Smash Brothers movie? 2035? 2040?
Let's go!
A new Doctor Strange toy is on the market, and it reveals a bit more than intended. Spoiler alert! Box art for some new Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness merchandise has leaked, and it appears to confirm a major villain not previously seen in a live-action MCU property, Shuma Gorath, the Great Old One and longtime nemesis of Strange in the comics. Leaked on Resetera, the art shows Doctor Strange battling a giant squid-like creature with an equally giant central eyeball. Though previous reports indicated Strange might be pitted against the sea monster Gargantos, the box art for this 1,000-piece puzzle more closely resembles Shuma Gorath, a distinctly Cthulhu-esque Great Old One originally created by writer Robert Howard in the 1920s as part of an expanded Lovecraftian mythos. In the decades since, he's battled with the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Invaders, and even Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Video game fans will also recognize Shuma Gorath as a playable fighter from the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Being an ancient demon, Shuma Gorath's powers include the ability to communicate with and control other life forms across dimensions, in addition to shooting energy blasts from his eye and tentacles, and transforming the genetic makeup of life forms on a planetary scale. Marvel hasn't confirmed any of this yet, of course, so we'll have to take it all with a grain of salt. But since we're going down this rabbit hole, the puzzle box art also shows Strange fighting alongside characters like fellow Sorcerer Wong, the interdimensional teenager America Chavez, and Wanda Maximoff / Scarlet Witch. Wanda's actions in the WandaVision series will play a role in Multiverse of Madness, and it's been theorized that she'll become a student of Doctor Strange, or his ultimate enemy, or both. Only time will tell, but we'll be here to help you piece together the puzzle. For the freshest news in gaming and entertainment, stick with IGN.
I'm sorry to bother you, sir.
Please, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Steven.
Strange. Don't cast that spell. It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't.
What's up everyone, Nars here with some breaking news. The wait to find out what villains will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home is finally over. 2 classic Spider-Man villains are joining the roster to face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, turn back right now. According to Empire magazine, Dr. Kirk Connors from The Amazing Spider-Man as well as Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman from Spider-Man 3 will be joining the growing list of villains in No Way Home. Empire magazine also posted the subscriber cover for the No Way Home issue, which teases Sandman in the bottom right of the cover. Aha! Gotcha! It has already been confirmed that we'll see the return of Alfred Molino's Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2, William Dafoe's Green Goblin from the 2002 original, and Jamie Foxx's Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's also the Venom 2 post-credit scene that shows Venom and Eddie Brock transported to what appears to be the same Earth as Holland's Peter Parker. Holland commented that the cast and crew are treating No Way Home as the end of a franchise, so it certainly seems like they're going out with a bang. With Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, Zendaya as MJ, and Jacob Batalon also joining as Ned, No Way Home is going to be a big deal when it hits theaters on December 17th. For all your video game, tech, and entertainment news, tune in to IGN.
I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week, so we'll see you then.